the way we did it is that we would switch off readers. So this way we would cover an aspect of the case.
Yeah.
And I was the last one, and I was just way too drunk.
Yes, it's
but it's
nice
good to have them, because having two of them, because now it's
the amount of times I've locked my key in my car.
Oh, right. I know, right?
Breaking back into my car. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I remember the old days where you had two keys, one for the ignition and one for the door.
Yeah,
that's how old I am.
That's crazy because I know. Yeah, I had an old car, so I guess like guys, welcome back to Btier.
Yep.
Don't care right now. Okay. When I first bought a car, I bought a Saturn, like an old like 4-door sedan, like the 2002 Saturn or whatever it was. Bought it for like $1,300. And week one, right? I'm getting out of school. I'm like, walking back or whatever to my car. I'm like, oh gosh, I got a car now, like I was one of the cool people now. And car keys on the seat, door didn't open. And I was like, dang.
Do you think that's bad? So this happened. Oh man,
it's not done yet.
Oh, it's not done yet? Oh.
So I got a buddy to get a Jimmy. Like he made like a coat hanger Jimmy.
Yeah.
And I like basically just pulled my door as far back as I could, which are like really like just that crack. And he got it out for me.
Oh, so, nice. That's a win.
Yeah. No locksmith called. But it was really funny though to just watch that after school, because we were there till like 4:15 or whatever, like an hour after school.
Yeah.
Just two kids trying to like break back into my car.
Yeah. So it's not to one up you, but my situation where I learned the hard way was that
I'm about to get one upped.
a buddy of mine and I were going to Scottsdale Mall in Old Town Scottsdale. It's like, I don't know why we were going there. We were gonna go watch Miami Vice, trash movie. Okay. But now after watching it again, say it's not too bad. It could have been better. But we get there, and I forget something in my car or something like that. I go back. I put my truck into park. This was an 06 Colorado. Put my truck into park. We got out, and I must have forgot some. Like, I'm going patting my pockets. Like, where's my keys at? And I turned back around. My keys are still in ignition. The truck's still on. And they were locked in the car. They're locked in the truck. So we had to actually we basically like called locksmith, got a time frame on, went to the movie, watched the movie, came back, met the locksmith. Yeah. He opened it up, and then it's like the guy was really nice. And he was only like, I don't remember how much it was, but then he forgets his flashlight. So then we got back on the phone. We called him like, hey, we have a flashlight, dude. This is actually a nice one. Yeah, I would like equivalent to like a Surefire one. So it's like
okay.
It puts in your bill. It's like
expensive.
They spent some money on this one, having two different tiers. So I called the guy back up. He was already 15 minutes away from after he got us taken care of. Because I'm getting all situated here and just beat myself. It's like, I'm an idiot. I was sober too. Yeah. I wasn't even high at all.
That's funny though.
Yeah, that's the worst part, And we had to go run and meet up with him, give it back to him and stuff like that. So yeah. Moral of the story is always double check your pockets.
Yeah. Phone, wallet, keys. Sing it back like 3 or 4 times before you do anything.
Oh yeah. There was a guy that coached or taught our CCW class from Minnesota, and what he would practice every day, like how he would draw his holster and stuff like that. Well, as he was going through his normal routine, because he basically kind of maintained that muscle memory. Well, he was not paying attention. He was shooting himself in the thigh. And so, talk about the best teacher to do, because you learn from your mistakes. Yeah. It was basically like
at least he didn't blow his junk off.
No, but it was basically it skimmed it got within like I don't know, quarter inch. It basically just went through the skin right out through the calves of it, but it was bad enough. Then I was out.
And that's why you carry with a loaded round. Probably.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Remember, bad guys don't wait for you.
Yeah, that extra like half a second or like 1.2 seconds that can make a hell of a difference in a fight. So it's like, but yeah, that like I don't know, if you're gonna carry with a chamber, just I don't know, don't let that happen, I guess.
Yeah, well, there was
mistakes happen, definitely.
For sure.
Did he have a SIG?
No, it was not a SIG. But
those things you just drop.
Speaking of SIGs, we've actually found out that people have had their firearms discharged while they're in the safe.
Oh, because they're just like
because the P320s had that issue with the trigger.
Yeah.
So what's going on is then there's been multiple lawsuits
Yeah.
against SIG in New Hampshire. Well, New Hampshire's what they're doing is they're kind of stepping in and stopping a lot of these lawsuits, because if they kept on going, they basically go out of business. And that's and like that opens up the door for the antis to come in and like, we can do this.
Got that contract too. So, and a lot of people are upset about that.
Oh, with the SIG contract, yeah.
Well, with the battle rifle that they came out with, whatever.
Well, they also had they also came out with the M17, the M18, that's which are military issue, or which with the military, not necessarily issue, maybe not, I'm not sure, but that's what they want, because it has a two systems, trigger system, so this way, or safety system, so this way you don't have to worry about going off.
But it's more complicaed and like
they're a nice gun. They shoot really well.
When you have to like field strip and stuff, you want it to be so basic. Like you want to be able to clean it. So it's like, I don't know. I've just heard a lot of issues with them. Being accepted on like the general infantry guy. Yeah. And then like I think it's the amount of rounds you carry per weight is like way lower too. So it's like if you have say 20 rounds per magazine and you're holding like a full clip, like you're like full stacked, right? You got 6 magazines. Well, like instead of holding 300 rounds, you're only holding 180. So like that's pretty rough.
I got you.
Like that's really rough for a firefight if you're going for multiple hours at a time.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just what I've heard. I'm not this is my stolen valor moment, but
maybe for their battle rifle, but I know with their pistol you can do a double stack 21 round. Okay. So it's like you can stack those up pretty good. Yeah, you have
a SIG, don't you?
We have 2 of them, yeah.
I've shot yours. I like it.
The smart thing is what they did
is it doesn't discharge randomly. So like
no, knock on wood.
You're just before that.
My X5 doesn't do that. The P320 that when we bought it, because right at the time when I bought it back in 2017, 2018 is when they transitioned to the new trigger. And they made a new trigger for it and stuff like that. So a lot of these lawsuits that are currently going on are from that time frame in 2016, 2017 before the new trigger.
Yeah.
And but what they did were smart was that they made all of their double stacks to fit in every single pistol that they make.
Okay.
So this way, then it's like you don't have to worry about
universal.
Yeah, it's universal. You don't have to worry about buying different ones, because let's say you have the MP Shield 1.0 and then you have the MP Shield 2.0, 2 different mag stacks.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, shoot, because it's like that's the smart thing that they did is they just doubled down on even with their P360, 365. They've now upgraded to the double stack, so this way you can transition for them. So this way, like for guys like big hands, like I've held the 365, like some of the earlier versions, they're too small for me to shoot comfortably. But I know if they have the double stack and I can put in a 17 or 21 round mag, I'm fine.
Yeah. So you like brought that guy's flashlight back to him, right?
Yep, we did. We met someplace in northern Phoenix or northern Scottsdale.
Do you feel like you earned some type of like good karma after you did that?
Well, needless to say, I've not done it since.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I forget my wallet more than anything else, because I'm used to always having, like, for like the last 3 phones that I've owned, I've always got the one where your cell phone is your wallet.
Yeah.
Now I have the cell phone where it has the M lock on it.
App and all that stuff now, right?
Yeah, but it's like you still need to have driver's license, so that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So until they make that completely digital, but I don't know if there ever will, because it'd probably be dangerous if they made a digital state ID.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess China knows, but I'm not China, so I don't know. I don't want to do that yet.
we got the real ID, and so we're just a few steps away from having a social credit score. We'll get there.
A little while.
Yeah, and plus on top of that too, like when we flew to Florida, they went full 1984. Yeah, they do the scan face. They have all the AI and stuff like that. So yeah,
they know who you are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, that like I was just wondering, like, do you believe in karma, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. That's why it's like I do my best not to hit animals, because it's like the time you need that good karma is when you have a deer coming out in front of you.
Yeah.
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 It's like avoiding hitting. Well, number one, hitting skunks, avoiding possums, dogs at all costs.
Oh, skunks are awful. You hit that shit in your cars for weeks.
I have yet to hit a skunk. Knock on wood. But I've ran like over them because like to swerve around them, but that smell gets underneath your chassis and gets into your circulating system.
I know I've mentioned it to you, so I guess I'm just telling it to this pod, which is weird.
Okay.
But like I remember I was driving home back over the Pike one night. It was like 2 a.m. or whatever. And I swear, like this was a massive animal. I like hit like a baby bear, right? Like I hit it. My car axle actually did that, you know?
Oh, wow. You hit something big.
I hit something big. So I like pull over. I'm like checking underneath my car and I still have the partially rigged because it's been like 8 years and I just never like fully fixed my car. You know?
Oh, so you're still driving the car you hit the entity with.
Yes.
Who knows? It could have been Mothman.
It could have been Bigfoot, dude.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so I get out of my car, I'm like checking, and then I see it, and this thing is like a massive. I mean, this was probably like 4-foot raccoon.
Oh man,
and
they get thick though. They get up to 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah, that thing's face planted. That thing did not live. Okay,
you rolled over its skull and it's dead.
I'm like scared too. I'm like, should I like call anybody? Like, what should I do? It's like 2 a.m. I wasn't drinking or anything, but I just didn't want to like have to deal with cops that late, right? So I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, like, what should I do? And she's like, well, just file an insurance claim in the morning. This is like 2:30 in the morning. I don't want to deal with this. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna drive home.
Yeah, it all comes down to is the vehicle drivable and is there enough damage necessary we need to file it? And that's where
my front bumper was kind of hanging off, but I was like, I can fix that.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, can I fix this without having involving insurance? And if that's the case, go from there.
I
like,
paid out of pocket for it, you know.
Ryan was telling me a story. He was coming back from I think this is 2019, 2018. He was coming back from Summerfest. Okay. This is back when they still did the whole, instead of breaking up 3 different weekends, it was just the whole 2 weeks.
You say 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, I was there in 2018. I think.
Yeah.
That was the last one I've been to.
He was coming back through, and he was going through Monroe County of all places, and a deer comes out and he smokes one. He clips it. He didn't smoke it, but he clips it. And he just kept on going. It's like I'm not pulling over to look. It's like it didn't cripple his vehicles. It's like just kept going because like I'm almost home.
It's like right by that cop stretch out towards Sparta. So like for people not familiar from here, it's like maybe 30 minutes outside of La Crosse or 25 minutes outside of La Crosse. But there's like a stretch of all deer and all cops, and they all sit next to each other, and they all jump out at each other, and the cops sometimes get in a fight with the deer, and it's crazy. But my mom's driving back from here one night, and she absolutely totaled her entire car from smoking a deer. Antlers went through the windshield. It was bad, dude.
Oh, that's a Final Destination movie right there.
It was bad. She was like, that was like her life before her eyes moment, you know, and like now every time she drives through there, she's just going like super slow, and you know, just like don't want to get pulled over, don't want to hit a deer. Like
you can tell that the older, like the boomers and the Gen Xers and stuff like that, but how many like based off their vehicle if they've hit a deer or not, because it's like if they've hit it,
they drive.
No, they have a brush guard.
Oh yeah, that too. Well, like when you live out here though, it kind of.
Yeah,
if you have like a big truck. Like
if you live anywhere around, well, you can like
I've had deer run into me.
At least you had that
stopped, and then they've like hit the side of my car. You know.
So get this. So Nick and I were coming back down from, I think it was not Jordan Peterson. It was Graham Hancock. He was doing a lecture, and with and so we were on our way back, and we're over by Mazeppa. And we were just, he was going way too fast. He was going way too fast. Dude. Yeah, he was zooming. He was zooming. And all of a sudden we look up and he goes, oh, I just got out of driving school to wipe the other one off a speeding ticket.
He like just got his points back.
And so we're just sitting there we're just sitting there talking to the guys like, so have you hit a car? Have you hit, like I was talking to the cop is like, so we're like, because we all, this is before I lived in Wisconsin. So it's like, I traveled back and forth to go hang out with John and a bunch of his other friends of Minneapolis. Like, where do all the deer cross right through here to watch out? Because I do a lot of morning driving or if I'm getting off work.
Dude, that like crack of dawn, dude. They're all over the place.
Or I'm driving up the right after work at like, let's say midnight or something like that. It's just like, where are the deer at? So this is what kind of an idea where not to drive, stuff like that. It's like, it goes here, here, and here. So have you hit a deer yet? It's like, goes knock on wood, but man, it's like, there's been a few close calls, but their trooper vehicles all have brush guards, not only to do emergency maneuvering for vehicles, but also to protect themselves from deer.
Yeah, I mean, they're driving the roads the whole time. Like, you have to be ready for that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. The one thing that I always ask about like karma too, because like karma kind of like assumes that there's like other magic out there too. Do you believe in magic in general? As like a concept, or as like an occult thing, or as like a religious thing?
I don't believe in magic, but I do believe in like the afterlife, devils or demons, and ghosts and angels and stuff like. Because I think I've said on this podcast, I know I've done it on Dosed After Dark, my experiences with angels and demons and such. But when it comes to magic, I do believe in deja vu. For me, it's like I call them like my checkpoints in life.
Checkpoints,
yeah. So it's like
right place, right time.
Exactly.
You're on point. Yeah.
This is where I'm on the right path.
Yes.
Whether you believe in a higher power or not, you're on the right path because all the right things have happened to trigger this moment. So this is kind of like your trigger moment. You're setting the moment. It's like, okay, now I'm trying to live for like the next 30 seconds. Like, what is the next glimpse of what I'm going to go towards?
You gotta know.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of like the time is a flat circle concept for me, at least, where it's like.
But magic wise, though, I don't. I believe in illusions because that's all we have. But magic,
like sleight of hand illusion.
Yeah,
and then
that type of illusion. But when it comes down to like legit magic, there could be.
Do you think there is a form of magic in that though, where it's like
if there
deceives the
is
viewer enough to where it's perceived as magic?
I think there would,
quote unquote,
but possibly at one point in time there could have been before like the industrialization, and we're talking
how about like
maybe before Christ, even before that.
How about like divination and stuff like that?
Divination. I'm not sure what you mean.
How about like bringing people back to life, like Lazarus
necromancy
story and that kind of. Well, I mean, I guess divination is not that, but yeah, necromancy. So like, say Lazarus, right? Like Jesus brought him back to life. Then he brought himself back to life. Is that some type of magic trick? Is that some type of like ethereal tapping? Per se.
It's like, well, let's pull ourselves outside of the constructs of religions. Like that could just simply be a uploading a new consciousness in that vessel. Where we could be, where we're actually in the Matrix, and like there was a glitch. Like you shouldn't have died, so this is our way of fixing a reboot in that aspect of it. Or it could be something like where they were a person that shouldn't have died. So it's like, okay, we're gonna type his code, bring him back up, or he was eternal or something like that. But I believe there has to be a entity or something like that has the power to do something like that outside of it. Because it's like if you have no brain function, how can you really go back to life? It has to be something that's an external source to be able to reboot you. In a sense, like we could use Jesus Christ in this case. Like there was something that rebooted him to come back to life 3 days later.
Yeah, and I always like believed that he was using some type of like divine like magic. Because a lot of magic, unfortunately, kind of goes to like like a voodoo doll, or like some occult paganism practice where they like they're doing like the alchemy, and then they're like have like the Satan summoning circles and stuff like that. But like I feel like if Jesus was like some high level magician, just like top tier level,
you'd be basically a sorcerer or a warlock and stuff like that.
Some type of,
because we do have the churches of Satan, so like there are spells that you can cast that can have irreparable damage, stuff like that.
There's a Reddit post where like people were trying to cast evil spells on Donald Trump, and everybody says that he's like untouchable. Like like Wiccans like try to like use evil forces on him, and it just doesn't work. So when you put that in perspective, it may work. Yeah, and I'm I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not gonna like insert my belief into your religion by any means.
But where do you think we got pharmacy from? It's from Wiccan, because Wiccans are the original pharmacists. Alchemy,
alchemists. There's like there was some type of magic at the time, and like it didn't make sense.
In their perception, really. It was magic, but in our knowledge now, it's like, so you mix this molecule with this protein with this
now
enzyme.
We can get gold in a cyberkinetic join at the end
Well,
of.
you saw that Uganda found they had like something like $200 trillion of gold.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
sure.
So it's like this actually made the left wing news media. It's like, oh, maybe it actually is real.
It probably
so
is.
it's like, oh, there's World War III.
Yeah,
That's all,
in
like,
Zimbabwe.
Yeah. No, it was Uganda. No, maybe it was Uganda, but someplace in Africa. It's like,
someplace in Africa.
The Rothschilds are going to get after the Federal Reserve is.
It's probably already there.
Mm-hmm.
But so like stuff like that, I think, where it's like sleight of hand, like a simple parlor magic tricks, like where you gotta know, guess your card or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I get that as a different type of magic, but I think there is some type of like, I don't know why I guess the elites in particular are like so fascinated by like magic in general, and they're like, yeah, it all exists, but like they just don't know. They tap into like a lower frequency of it,
or it could be a higher frequency that we're unaware of because of what we have in our system. I mean, fluoride is designed to block your pineal gland, so it's like there could be something in the water that
up on that. Yeah,
they don't like. They don't want the proles to stand up because the survival of the nation is going to come down to the proles in 1984. So it's like we're going to see a revolt. It may not be happening in my generation or your generation, but maybe 2 or 3 generations down the road.
I argue that we're in the middle of it. So I think like the end. I think the end of the blue pill is like around the corner. And I don't know what it looks like after that. I don't think it really matters.
I don't. Yeah,
but I think it's like
the biggest thing is
right now it's like if you have to have main character energy. I think that's kind of what it is. I think that's kind of what the shift is.
But then
instead
again,
of being an NPC and keep taking the blue pill and keep following all of these health mandates and all of this and all of that.
So main characters like what you're talking about would be like our Charlie Kirk or Dr. Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, and stuff like that.
People who step out,
similar to like Aaron Rodgers.
We've talked about it on here before.
Yeah.
It's just not being an NPC.
I don't know.
Being somebody who takes directive and is being somebody who can adapt to the changes that are about to happen. Because I think a lot of stuff is about to happen.
Yes.
I think we're about to see like there's decades in history where nothing happens, and then there's months in history where decades happen. And I think we're about to enter into that.
Oh yeah,
It's very evident from what I can tell you, and it's just a culminating point of a bunch of different data that everybody's looked at already. And I think we're in the middle of it. I don't know. Like, and I think it's going to be the youth, and I think they're going to. I mean, usually they go back to God, right? That's usually kind of an answer.
But the biggest thing would be is destroying the matriarchy of feminism, the toxic feminism, because
that's the starting point.
Yeah,
it's getting away from the blue pill. It's going toward, and it really.
But it's fixing being able to change the brain waves of the ladies.
This is B tier, so you're not going to get much content out of this. But
yes, write your hateful comments, please. We like the interaction.
Tell us how bad we are.
And if the Matrix takes this video down, we did our job.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I don't want to get into it too much, but it is something to think about. Like if say like starting a podcast is like somehow just outside of the norm, even though now everybody has one, right? So maybe it's not an normal thing per se. But like what you talk about and what you bring to the table on that podcast is probably going to be where the differential happens. And with everything going like AI this, AI that, or whatever, I feel like people are going to kind of start coming back together for live performances and stuff like that. I know we've talked about it on here. If B tier ever gets big enough, we will do a live performance somewhere. Like we could sell out a show. I'm sure we could. And we would set up the table exactly how we do anyway. We just have an audience. You know what I mean?
If we could pull off like a Kill Tony situation, bro, dude, it'd be epic. But it'd be only podcasters. Yeah, that's all we'd have on there. People.
Yeah, we'd have a round table, dude. We'd have like 6 podcasters, and we'd just be going back and forth. Like,
well, basically, you'd have your.
We do Btier Bowler questions.
Yeah, there we go. And once that question's been answered, they're off. Then they're instead of like. Because you've seen Kill Tony, right? So they usually get a minute's worth of being able to do their material. Well, in this case, we pull a bowler hat question. We ask the question, and then once it's been thoroughly answered, then they move on. They're down for their bit.
Yeah, it'd be like the minute hot minute or whatever. You just like go up there.
You can cap around 5 or 6 minutes, you know.
Crush it if you can. Crush it if you can't.
Right.
And then you get out of here.
It's not a bad concept, man.
No, it's not. And like honestly, I think with things like getting so weird online, in real life person shows with entertaining people singing, dancing, and playing guitar or whatever, That's going to do 100 million times better than anything. I think people are going to get away from social media in the next couple months.
Look how many seasons of America's Got Talent's been out. American Idol. I mean, look how many seasons they all have out there. I mean, granted, it's all stage and it's all crap, but people want to go see live talent.
Yeah.
You know,
and it means so much more if it's like a human making imperfections than it does an AI robot singing or whatever. I don't know. I told Dooley this, right? Because he had like an entire album. Has he shown you his AI album yet?
No, he hasn't.
He did an entire AI written album.
No kidding.
It's impressive that he wrote it. I'm not going to knock that, right? It's like, you know, he took the time to like set the prompts up, get all that stuff out, get it the way he wants it. It turned out great. So I'm not going to knock that. I listened to a lot of it with him in Discord the other day or whatever. But I think I was like, I was like, dude, what you should do is you should like do the entire beat with AI and then sing on top of it. I want to hear like your real voice because I don't know who's singing. Like, I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like usually a name to the face. So like, I know if Post Malone's on an album because I can hear his singing and I'm like, it's not perfect. He uses autotune here a lot, but I know it's Post Malone. So I can like put a face to the name to the song. But I can't do that with AI. Like, I don't know who is singing it because it's not his voice, right? So I think there's going to be a lot to that in the future, and I hope that I'm right.
I hope so too. Right. I hope so too, but like, because the reason why we could say that is like, because now we're seeing a decline in birth rates. So I could see that actually making a change where people wanted to go see it. Now, if we were reproducing like we had been, where the average family was 3.2 kids or something like that, where I could see us moving into more of an artificial world. But now, since we're having less of a birth rate, we could see a resilience or recharge of having a more of live experience. You know, that's like kind of like I'm kind of beating Kill Tony to death, but it's like. His show survived the pandemic, and he left.
It got better.
It got bigger. It got better. Yeah. Oh yeah, I watched their stand up and stuff like that, and they would rotate their main crew. They would have Rogan there. They had Tony Hinchcliffe. They had Brian Redband, but they had Shane Gillis there, and they had a few other people in there for like their bigger headliners, stuff like that. Because they would have I can't remember the guy's name, but he did like RFK, and he did Joe Biden, stuff like that, and along with. What's the Dr. Phil, but they had Shane Gillis as Trump. I was like, dude, it's like hilarious.
Yeah. I'm so excited for like when $1 Million Stream comes back. That's Sam Hyde's sketch comedy tour stuff. Okay. You don't know much about Sam Hyde then, huh?
No, it doesn't ring a bell, no.
So like somebody might relate to me in the show comments, but I used to watch Whitest Kids You Know a lot growing up. That was like the sketch comedy growing up, right? Like they would just like do these ridiculous scenes. They put you in like the most dumb scenarios.
I grew up with Yeehaw. That's like then you transition from Yeehaw because that was big throughout the 70s and 80s on Midwest television. Then you moved into we had like Satellite Night,
MTV and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like I grew up in like from 90, pretty much from 90 to like till 2005. MTV was at its best. Between 88 to 96, 97, SNL was at its peak when you had Adam Sandler, those guys.
You had the best comedy.
Oh yeah, and then even after like 97 into like the mid 2000s, we had Sherry O'Terry along with Will Ferrell and stuff like that. Those guys crushed it too. And the newer ones, it's like they're getting real preachy, and they're also talking a lot more about the devil. So it's like, I get it. You sold your soul to the devil to relive your life. So,
well, you know, like something about that too is like, I think people who are like my age forget that you can go back and watch those like older comedy sets and still like learn how comedy works. Or like how, you know, how a joke is told.
David Chappelle, you know,
because some of the best comedy sketches are from SNL in like the late 90s, right? Early 2000s. You just said that.
Oh yeah.
And that comedy is like timeless. Like if you know
More Cowbell, it's like that was
More Cowbell is great.
You know,
it's one of my all-time favorite skits
with Christopher Walken. Yeah. But that's the thing though. It's like they wouldn't have known it would be a hit until he did it, and it just took off. It gained. That's the concept of virility coming because you don't know what's going to kick.
Back like that hits all the time.
Oh yeah, that slaps.
Like, are you? Yeah. So like stuff like that is like so timeless, and I think nowadays, people are like, oh, like what show should I watch on TV? Because I'm trying to get into like the TV show that everybody else is watching, and somebody will recommend like White Lotus, and I'll be over here like, oh, you should watch like The Sopranos, or you should watch like
Have you seen the Deli Boys?
Breaking Bad or whatever. Like people don't go back and watch old shows. Like
the best content. I did watch. I did watch. So I watched 3 movies yesterday.
3 movies?
Yeah. Well, it's like after the in-laws left.
Oh, Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll
give you that.
We did all of our running around. We did all of our stuff like that, and we just kind of got bored. So it's like
that's a sender moment right there. You just watch everything you can.
Well, these are all. I like to watch new content where Alicia likes to consume old content. She's a big. She has her 6 or 7 shows that she likes to shuffle through. I like watching new content because I just get bored with the old. But I watched Killer of Killers, the Blue Predator movie.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Well done. Why couldn't they do that in real life? I don't know, but it was really well done.
Why don't you comment down below?
Yep. Gladiator 2. It was trash. I thought it was rushed.
Okay.
Didn't have any story building. And basically claiming that
I can't wait to pitch an idea to you. Okay, hold on one second.
And then the other movie I watched was New World Order.
Okay, yeah, Brave New World or whatever.
Brave New World. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was funny. It's funny how we're talking about like they bring in Aldous Huxley and all that stuff. But that movie was actually pretty good. It was what
pacing was really odd, but once it got picked up, it was good.
Yeah, exactly. But they underutilized Stearns.
Yeah.
He is an Omega level mutant and.
Reptilian overlord, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, that's because of all the gamma radiation. You could see the gamma that dripped from it. It was a good throwback to bring Stearns back in the picture, but he's not dead, so that means he has an opportunity to resurge. But Marvel's not known for killing off bad guys unless because they create the multi-universe, so it's like you really will never kill a villain or a hero.
Doomsday, it's like obviously they're bringing back Doom. But like he died in Fantastic Four in 2004 or whatever. But they brought back them too, and that's coming back soon. But no, Brave New World was not that bad. Like
it really wasn't.
Like I said, the pacing was kind of weird, and it's like weird. Like why is Bucky just somehow a congressman now? Like what did he do that? That
what did he get
make sense.
I think he seems like he's a CIA shill. Or something like that. It's tough to say.
Like inserted. He's like the Dan Crenshaw guy.
Did you watch the
down an arm, down an eye? All right, sorry.
So did you watch the end scene? You know how they always prepare for the next.
Yeah,
I did not get that conversation with Stearns.
Well, it brought it. Yeah.
That's that end scene. I don't understand because you know how they go back to prison.
They do a callback. Yeah.
I don't get that scene.
It could make sense, I guess. Have you watched Thunderbolts yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, they're really building. They're building right now, and that's what they're doing. They're doing what they did in 2008, 2009. Favreau back, pretty much.
Yeah, they had to get rid of all the woke because they're losing way too much money. The Marvels was a shit show.
Oh, I didn't even watch it.
Yeah.
And I say that as like a superhero fan. So like I'm not watching it, like I'm sure there's a lot of more people.
I didn't even watch Madam Web. It's like I knew that was going to be trash.
Yeah, and
not saying and
that's so.
They had the right actresses, but there's the directing and the script was just trash. They want to overwhelm it with too much political agenda.
And then like why do Madam Web? Like why would you not do just like Gwen or like do Penny Parker? You could do like a million different people from that universe. Weird to me. They picked like the most unpopular ones.
So you actually you went and watched Thunderbolts then?
Yeah. We went in theaters. I guess I don't know if I really want to talk about it on the show because it's kind of already coming past. But
you can talk about like a whole. I've watched the ending of it from the clips because like that's how they beat him was a hug.
Yeah, they killed him with the power of friendship and love.
That's
baby.
cute.
Not to
cute.
Spoil it, but
right. Summer of love, folks.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's always what I kind of thought it was going to be.
I don't know how canon it was.
Yeah,
was it canon? I don't know that for Century. I don't know enough of his storyline to actually was that canon to bring his
what kind of story it was. It was very put together. And actually kind of refreshing. Like I know it was kind of like a dark movie, and I think every movie nowadays is just shot in this like weird contrast where it's just all dark.
Well, because it's like what they're building up for, like Civil War or Secret Wars.
Yeah,
it's gonna be dark, especially like when they did the.
Well, it gets crazy, and people who have read the comics know that. But like, it's it's Nick Fury is pretty much gonna be like the main character, but like people are. I don't think they're ready for that because we've had Iron Man and we've had, Captain America for so long. So like, it's going to be weird, but I like the Fantastic Four entering in and all that stuff. So that's all going to be fun.
I know with that one, they went straight woke with that idea. Cause it's like,
I don't know. I mean, the new Fantastic Four comes out like a month or whatever.
Oh, that's true. From what
but
the people have been talking about.
Here's an idea though.
Is this canon or what are you thinking?
No. Here's an idea for B tier. This has nothing to do with.
Oh, you're talking canon B tier here. Just good enough, folks.
This is lore building right here. Yeah, right. I wanted to review The Town, like that movie.
Such a good movie.
I wanted to do like an official review with us four. Like I want to do it with
Brad, and Phil. Yeah, heck yeah.
And I don't know if we watch it together. Like I don't know if we have to. Right, but I think we all watch it on our own time. And then
I think it'd be easier to do that because we're all doing something.
Yeah,
like I was looking at my schedule for
Isn't
July.
It nuts? Like there's always something going on.
My month of July, every
Are you already
weekend.
Booked?
Oh, every single weekend. Even for 4th of July, I'm going down to. I
just want to go
to Illinois
with you once. Yeah,
I know. Well, we got a membership to Ettrick, so.
Yeah, we'll figure out the time.
I need to get some trigger time behind it because November's coming quick.
I need a lot of trigger time because I need to like learn how to shoot this gun that I'm still building. Okay, like I'm still waiting for parts. Like it'll get there, but
yeah, June is actually the best month. Like the only thing I have really planned for June is like on the 18th, I'm going up to Wisconsin Rapids, but then for Father's Day, so Alicia goes like, so what are we doing for Father's Day? I don't know. And it's like, well, and we were at Sam's Club last night. It's like we went over the briskets. I'm grabbing the briskets, and I don't know the science behind it, but listening to some champion smokers that are barbecuers, that you take a brisket and you basically, if you can fold it and touch end to end, it's a high quality piece of beef.
Okay.
Don't know much about it, but so I picked up a 15 or 16 pound packer brisket for Father's Day.
You need help eating that?
Oh, of course. Of course. that was going to be the big surprise this weekend. This right.
Might be up at Jeff's for Father's Day.
Yeah, right. Because I'm gonna call up my dad and see if he wants to come up, and then I was gonna invite Ben and Sarah over too as well.
I'm already in.
Yeah,
you
right.
Got me sold.
Oh, exactly, and I'll invite Phil and Dana as well because I'm not cooking fish, so.
Yeah, never again. No, I'm kidding.
I still can't believe I did that. I grabbed
it's not your fault. That's like the most unfortunate.
Yeah.
Like just a tad bit, and then like that's gonna affect the whole.
Yeah, I watched.
She took Benadryl.
Well, she didn't even. I don't know if she ate any, but I did clean every single one of them off.
Yeah. Oh, it's nuts. That's just bad luck. It's just bad luck.
It was a combination of being tired.
I mean,
and
you were doing so much that day, dude. You got bear over here, you got deer tongue, you got like,
no excuse,
cow heart, like you had too much going on.
Then on top of that, too, my day started at 5 o'clock that morning.
And we had people over the whole time. You're talking, you're not really paying attention. You're just like trying to keep the party alive. Like, I mean, that's like what you do. It's like entertainment 101. But
it seemed to work out pretty well. I just felt bad for Brian because he was still pretty sick. He's definitely not 100% over whatever he had. But he said I
talked to him for a while in the back, in the back of the party. Yeah. And he was definitely quiet more than usual, but like once he kind of got going, he was fine.
But the fact that he made the trip out which was awesome, and he was just too not in the mood to do a podcast either, which was perfectly fine. I had to push myself to do a podcast with Rick, which that was 90 minutes.
You did a pod that night? Oh
not Friday night. We did one Saturday night.
Oh, Saturday night.
Yeah,
that's still tough though. It's 2 back-to-back full days.
Oh yeah. Sunday was the only day that was actually kind of relaxing.
Like but now, the biggest thing that we might be doing this summer as like a group, like that'd be like B tier, right? Brad wants to do a Hawaiian cookout, and he's going to dig a hole and put like a full like boar in there and like cover it and then cook it for like 12 hours or whatever it is.
Yeah. Give
It
him
might be something we do in a weekend. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
when
something.
that's gonna happen.
Well, that would be something
Me
you
and Brad
start.
are gonna take off at work.
That'd be something you'd start on a Saturday and just do on a Sunday, or start on a Friday just to finish on a Saturday night, because you want to give yourself a budget of 16 hours.
His uncle just bought 50 acres.
Nice.
Like an hour and a half from here, 2 hours.
Oh, so it's a trip.
It's gonna be a day.
Oh, okay, all right.
But we might camp out there. I don't know, and then that might be kind of our thing.
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know. I will bring bikes though, so we probably will do a pod.
Well, I'll bring my little board.
Bring your board. Yeah, bring your mic, like your
lapel mics. Yeah.
Yes, because then
it's all one unit.
That would be like the one Btier like out of the studio that I'm like, yes,
yeah, right.
Like, we have to do
that. That was the way to go, because like one of my favorite podcasts I did was we were at R100 here. I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago now, and we were the guys I was with. They shot the R100. We went to their campsite. We're just drinking beers around the campfire, passing microphones. I had 8 people in that podcast, just pass the microphone. It was fun. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's like you're just sitting there, just kind of relaxing, and people are chatting about themselves and what got them into archery and what mental health benefits it's given them and such. It was a really good night to celebrate everybody's wins.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Some people shot like I had one of my best days.
Yeah, and that feels good to hear about the shit.
It's in July. It's hot. And it's muggy. That night,
200 degrees out. Yeah, it's swamp. Like,
dude, there's a campground just so over by Leon. There's a campground just east of there, and it has, I don't know, probably 50, 60 spots. And then some spots are camper, and some spots are for tents and stuff like that. But it works out pretty good. I have a friend of mine that he comes and brings his kids over and stuff like that and camps there. And I always invite him. I was like, hey, if the weather gets bad, come over to my place. Well, the time he didn't take up my invitation, it thundered and rained. Tornado. He had 2 kids, and he's got a bad reaction to meat. And for some odd reason, there's like certain meats will give him like the bubble guts. Okay. And it was bad. It was bad. It's like I should have took him an offer because it was hot. It was muggy. The kids were uncomfortable. It's like, bro, you could
offered him. You didn't take it.
Yeah, I was still like we were watching the storm come in, because we basically like
you got like Ryan Hall up on the monitor. You're like,
we were in separate groups, but we were like right next to each other and stuff like that. And I made sure I give him that offer, because this way, then if the kids are cranky, well, then you can get him out of the heat. You get him the AC unit, then you can be able to get a nice shower. You'd have basically your own entire floor. You basically take over the downstairs, but it's like he didn't take me up on that offer. So I'm still going to offer it to him.
It looks like Monster when you pour it. Too.
It does. Yeah. It does. It really does.
No, that's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty wild. Well, you never know when you're going to go to camp. What's like the craziest camping
experience?
Yeah. Story. So I don't know. Give it how you want it. You know?
So this happened, oh boy, back in, I think this would have been 97, 98. So
it's not one of those stories where you're like, oh, I was homeless and I was camping in the encampment camp underneath the
I have
highway.
Some of those too. When I was actually homeless in 2008.
And you were camping underneath the highway. Yeah.
I did spend a few nights underneath some overpasses. So yeah, like get up underneath those when you're driving through, you look right up there and you got that shelf.
Yeah,
slipping right up there to get out of the rain.
You see all of them over there.
Yeah, this is in Portland, mind you. But the most craziest one was my brother and I, we were on our bikes. We were camping outside of Osage, and we were heading over to my friend Caleb's house. And now we're no longer friends, because he went this way and I went this way.
MIA.
Yeah. And so we were over at his place. We're playing, because it's like his mom was my troop leader, and they had just bought a house, they were remodeling, but they had this like random cutout where it's like it
looks like you're drawing like a half pipe.
Yeah, basically it is, but we're just taking our bikes and going back and forth. And it's like, it was getting close to dark. And Dad told us, like, once it started getting dark, to make your way over. It's like, all right, cool. So we left his place, and like to go up there or to come down, it's a downhill curve, then back up again. And so my brother just takes off flying. I'm just slowly just tweaking my brakes, going slow, because there's also sand there, because of they put tar on it, they put the sand down and stuff like that. And they also, during the wintertime, they put sand on, because it's a curve and it's like, and you don't want it, and it's then on top of that, it's a drop off. I'm riding my bike behind him, and all of a sudden I watch his back tire just go right out, and his wrist goes like this, and his bones go out this way. Luckily, I'm not even kidding, within 4 or 5 minutes, my uncle and his buddy were coming out because they knew my dad, we were all out there camping. They would come out and they want to drink some beer and hang out and stuff like that. Him and his brother and my cousin, or my uncle, and they were coming out there, and they were coming down the hill, and I flagged him down. It was perfect because then they came, scooped up my brother, and then they hauled ass because we had another half-mile drive back into the middle of nowhere, and had to grab Dad. They both hopped in the truck, or the two of them hopped in the truck with my brother, and then they took off to the hospital where my uncle just hung out with me. We were just sitting out there. He was drinking beer, and I was just kind of just chilling.
Yeah,
But yeah, watching that all happen, and just like, because like now in the back of your mind, it's like, this is talk about like, what do you do? Do you leave your brother in pain to go get your dad, or do you go back to the place we were at?
Yeah,
because this is nice. We had no cell phones. We didn't have a CB radio.
That's life or death moment, essentially.
Yeah, because it's like, but the worst.
You're like, he's not dead yet.
but you could have went into shock and stuff like, or could have other things could have happened. So that, and the worst part was like, he got lucky that where he fell, he didn't slide into a culvert, because it used to wash out. So they built a culvert, but right where he was, it's a 12-foot drop. He could have slid right off and went straight down, and who knows what happened.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
All that on one camping trip.
Yeah, that was that was like pretty much the pinnacle of what could go wrong quickly.
Yeah. Like shit hit the fan.
Oh, it did, because it's like it's a blind curve too, and so it's like we were following the traditional driving ways. It was like, we were on the outside. I was telling him, you need to go slow, but he's like, nope. He just took right off. He sent it too hard, man. And he just happened, his back tire hit some that sand and kicked it right out. So that's why I feel like there should be a fine given to those who, when they mow their ditches, they blow those leaves out into the clippings out in the road, they should get a fine, because any type of two-wheel vehicle, you hit it acts like ice. You'll kick it right out. Yeah. My uncle's talked about, my dad's talked about. Anybody that's ridden bike will tell you about the horror stories they've seen of stuff like that happening.
Yeah. No, that's something I didn't even think about, I don't know. Like, I don't think about like a law written for that, but
should
like be. I know like my dad like broke his arm on not a motorbike. We'll put that in the air quotes.
Was it like a moped or something?
Dude, I don't know. Like, I only have like part of the story. Yeah. But my dad went through like a midlife crisis, right? Obviously, you gotta go through that. And he like tanked it on a bike once, and I don't know if it was a motorized bike. He did have a motorized bike, but I think he tanked it on a natural motorcycle. And he broke his arm and didn't tell like anybody about it. Just like, he's a doctor, so he just like goes into his other doctor and he's like, "Yeah, can I get a cast?" And like, honestly, like, that's kind of baller, right? But yeah, I don't know if he tanked it on a bike. I don't know if he tanked it on a motorbike. I don't know if he tanked it on a motorcycle and got rid of the motorcycle. I have no idea. But that's what I've heard. Through the grapevine of other people, not through him. So
wow, it's a bravado thing, man. Nobody wants to talk about when they screwed up on a bike.
Yeah, right.
My dad's told me a few stories when he was on a motorcycle where he's had to grip and rip it.
I was telling Phil we should buy some Venoms, like the 200cc Venoms that go like 40 miles an hour. We should just start bringing them to work and like tear them up, a little bit. I think we'd be like the talk of the town for a minute. You know what I mean?
Right. As long as they're licensed and insured and all that fun stuff, because you don't want to end up on YouTube.
Well, he doesn't really like
pull a Mercado.
Yeah. He doesn't have his license yet, so like for a car, but he could get a license for a bike.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. I guess it's less likely to kill somebody. You're most likely to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's
and they're fun.
How many times like people don't pay attention?
Yeah.
Even on two wheels.
I saw a guy driving down here with like a 50cc like mock bike. Like, he's on this little like rally bike, dude. And I was cheesing for him because I was outside. I was just holding like a I found this, guys, people at home might get this. I found a really big stick in my yard that fell off of my tree, and I was holding it like this, you know, kind of like a long sword, like I was like the final NPC boss, you know. And I look out to my left, and there's just this, there's this grown ass like 50-year-old man on like a little trike bike that's going like, you know, it's obviously electric, but it's going like 50 cc's, so he's probably going like 15 miles an hour just down the sidewalk. And I was like, I waved to him. I'm like, hell yeah, sir. He knew what he was doing, you know? Right. But craziest, but I don't know why he's just like, oh, whatever. I don't know.
There's no cops.
What are people doing, you know?
What I wish that lacrosse would do, instead of having them ride their bikes on the street, just have them ride this on the sidewalks, because there's a lot.
They don't follow any of the rules, dude.
What's that?
Then they don't follow the rules.
They don't follow the rules regardless, man. You know how many people that have like buzzed straight through a green light or red light?
I'm not even kidding. I saw a video of a cyclist, and I hate cyclists, so let's just like put this out there.
You're a cyclist.
Well, you could clearly just like turn left or right and avoid this. But instead, there's a video. This guy's going straight, and he sees a guy clearly, like very clearly in the GoPro. You can like see this guy coming into his frame, riding along with him for a minute. Signals that he's going to turn right. The guy on a skateboard, and the biker immediately sees that he's turning into him and just hits him. Doesn't even try to avoid him. There's like very clearly distance, and yeah, he takes victim, of course, right?
Right.
He's like, oh, on Twitter, I can't believe this guy
because I read it.
Yeah, I can't believe this guy ran into me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I'm better than him because I'm riding a two wheels. He's riding four wheels.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's ridiculous.
The audacity.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what, like, dude, and it's crazy because like I want to go bike. Like, I think being a biker would be cool. You know, same thing with being like a cross country runner. But I feel like you just can't in this society. Like, people are just like.
Well, we're lucky here. If you want to go cross country running, you can, because we have trails through like Granddad's Bluff, and we have trails through public land. I mean,
we do have a lot of trails.
Even where the public land I hunt, they have a dog trail that people run their dogs up and stuff like that all the time.
Yeah,
and they will also.
If I ever run that, you'll never hear from me.
Oh, it's and
but I'll be back on the pod. Don't worry. Yeah.
if you do that, make sure you send somebody that's closest to you a GPS coordinates of where you're going to be at, because in this way, then if you break your knee, break your ankle, then at least this way, then we have a starting point to come find you.
I'll be good.
Yeah, because actually,
I've done that before. I've definitely ran in the woods for a while.
Because I had a guy on my podcast here last late summer, and I was talking to him like, how do you, because he does backcountry hunting by himself, goes after elk, so it's like it's only by himself, so all he has is his bow and a sidearm. No, he's telling me that in Colorado they've limited you down just to your bow, so it's like run into a bear or a wolf lion? Or a mountain lion. And so I asked him, like, so what do you do to help relieve the stress of your wife? So it's like, basically what I do is like I will turn my GPS on whatever device he's using. He would have it his Onyx logged in at home, and then whenever he got service, that feed will connect, so this way his wife can see him. And he basically had his emergency plan. It's like, if you don't hear from me within 16 hours of our last conversation, you need to call the rescue. Yeah, because something bad's happened to him. So I was like, it's a very legitimate thing. And you can actually purchase insurance through some helicopter companies that will, if you can buy the insurance, and like if something bad happens, like fall and break your leg, your next leg, they'll come and find you. Yeah. You get a sat phone and they'll call you. You call them to come pick you up.
Yeah, don't end up like 128 hours later or whatever.
Yeah, 127. Yeah,
127. Yeah. Sorry, I was there an extra hour. I don't know about you, but
I survived. I don't know what his problem was.
Yeah, I've done it before. Yeah. Oh man. But
those are real scary fears about going through it, because like
I feel like that's like a real scenario too, because like you could be out there and like you could be pretty comfortable with like your kit and everything like that, and then all of a sudden like bear shows up. Oh, okay, well, this is different. Like everything just changed. Mountain lion shows up, you know, you might have to feed your dog to him. Right? It's like you never know. You never know. Yeah, your whole scenario just changed, and it's like one of those things that's like, yeah, you want to be prepared for it. You don't want to hope it happens, but you have to be prepared for it because you never know if it will happen.
Oh yeah, someone when you go out there, you want to have a 4 in whatever caliber you're using because you want to make sure whatever you're going to be using is going to stop the animal because you're going to keep coming after you until you're dead unless you somehow make yourself intimidating enough. Because you and I've watched those videos where they've come across a mountain lion and there you see the guy walking backwards. Just like, dude, that's the worst. That's the worst animal because if a bear will bluff charge and then they'll run off because they're trying to figure out.
There's that video that we watched. It was like a Canadian on the Canadian border, and this guy's in a boat, right? And like, it's kind of getting shallow or whatever. And then all of a sudden there's a bear on the shore and the bear immediately charges, right? Didn't even think about it. And he's got like a 357 Magnum and he hits him like one time. The bear didn't even stop at the one hit. The second shot scared him and then he like ran off. And like, that is like 4 seconds to like react to like what happened.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm sure you're decompressing that for like,
the adrenaline rush.
Therapy after that, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, the adrenaline dump would be astronomical. The amount of energy that's coming through your body to go through all of that. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Like even after hunting on Jeremy's property up there in Eau Claire, and finding out that there's a sow and 2 cubs out there a couple of years ago, I was like, you're like, holy shit.
Happy you told me after.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's like, I was talking to his in-laws, and it's like, because I brought a pistol up there because I know I'm going to bear country. I brought my pistol, but the first day I hunted, I didn't bring it with it. I didn't bring it with me.
You just didn't have it.
I had it with me. I didn't bring it with me because like I didn't know there was going to be. Well, then I come back and I was like, yeah, there's bears around here. We got a guy over here baiting. It's like. So it's like, I grabbed my 21 round magazine, full that thing full, grab my other magazine, stacked it someplace. Like, okay, if things go wrong, it's like I need to be able to grab this, kick this out, slam it in there, rack another round, and ready to keep firing. Or I die. Well, hey, if I die, it's like, hey, it's like, you remember that guy, the host of the Bucks for America podcast? He got killed by a bear. Talk about a way to die.
That's a way to go, dude.
Right?
That's a way to go. If you had to like pick a way to go out, would that be it?
I'd rather be killed by a mountain lion though, because this way then they're gonna go for the jugular, not a bear, not a wolf, because
bears like rip your arms off.
They'll start from your ankles and work your way up, and you still be. Remember the guy that got killed eaten by the bears?
Well, how about like the hockey team that like fought a bear off? You remember that? You remember hearing about that in Canada? And
then they got the wrestlers that were out in Wyoming or something like that, or Montana. That came across a bear and they both got the shit out of them, but they survived. Oh, they did not look good, but boy, because it's like there's another infamous guy named Steve Ranella, and he does a Btier podcast and the Btier show and stuff like that. He always fantasized about surviving a grizzly attack, and then reality sunk, and it's like, I don't think I want to go through that.
And he
experience.
Like became the Revenant, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Tough.
Especially when you have I think he's at 3 kids or 4 kids now. I think they're done having kids, but they have 4 kids and all that. It's like it's a cool story.
You
but
don't want to wish it.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to wish that type of trauma.
Well, yeah, like you hear about people and they might be out in the woods with their kids, right? Like they might be out there with their kid and like their dog or whatever, and they're like, yeah, if a mountain lion comes, like, I'm sorry, like we're gonna sacrifice our poodle named Jim before we give up our kid named Timmy. You know what I mean? Like, and you hear about that and you're like, yeah, like in a heartbeat decision, that is what you're gonna do. You're gonna like sacrifice your little like, lap dog, but it's just like, it's a lot harder to like think about that if like you can't sacrifice that, right? Then you are just dead and you left your wife to 5 kids or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I posted an article from Clearwater or something like that, from Clearwater, Minnesota, and there was a bear break-in. This is from 2015. So granted, it's not really relevant, but it's something you got to be mindful of. But It broke into their house, and they had to kill it, otherwise they could have done some damage to them. So like it's like we get lazy. We don't realize that these things, they've kind of stopped happening because it's like, basically we stopped that
we civilized everything.
Well, we basically removed that threat to that neighborhood, but you also gotta be mindful of that threat that could possibly still happen in your home when you're remote in like Rhinelander or over in Ettrick or over in Stoddard.
Well, we think about like bear attacks up here, but like down south, they think about like alligators taking their their dogs and stuff like that. Like that stuff happens.
Oh yeah,
that stuff happens in LA. A mountain lion will just come in and like take a little lap dog and like send it. It's gone.
Yeah, and
like, you're never getting that dog back.
California went so far communist. It's like it's like they're paying people to hunt these animals instead of the people paying them to hunt the animals. You know what I mean?
That's a different.
And when they hire these,
that's a different thing.
When they hire these particular professional hunters, they're charging like 15, 16 grand an hour or something like that. Because why not? Well, you can go Washington, Oregon. You can actually fish professionally and make 6 figures. You have to go after pike and stuff like because they want to remove them from their walleye streams or from the salmon streams, stuff like that. And there was a couple of guys that made 110 grand their first year out there doing it, but they're fishing 360. But oh, what a bad day to go out fishing. It's like you didn't catch anything, but I went out fishing.
Yeah, like I'm getting paid to do that.
You go down to Florida right now; they're paying 80 to 100K going after invasive snakes.
Okay. Oh, snake hunting though.
Yeah, because you're doing it. You have to do it at night. You have to look for the little bitty eyes, stuff like that. Because they've got pictures of snakes killing or eating alligators. They got so big because some of the snakes they were just hatched in 1992.
Just imagine an anaconda that's been growing since like the prehistoric era, and it's just big enough to take an entire alligator into his mouth and just hold it, and then you like see the outline of the alligator going down the back of the snake.
Oh yeah. Well, Hurricane Andrew back in '92 destroyed a lot of the wildlife refuge. There's islands that have hippopotamuses. There's places that have monkeys and stuff like that because the hurricane destroyed so many habitats. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's not something I want to do, but if you want to go make money, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you can actually do guided hunts for iguanas there in Florida.
Change of pace.
Sure.
You have 24 hours to make $1,000. What are you doing right now?
Make $1,000 in 24 hours? Yeah. Jesus.
Can't rob anybody.
Right? Man, the quickest thing you're going to do is you're going to have to sell something that you could upsell. Okay. Which would probably be the quickest way to do is maybe a lawnmower, like looking at things that are useful, like a lawnmower or like that's what I would go after, like a lawnmower, a snowblower, maybe a car or something like that. Maybe brokered a deal. I was talking to a friend of mine that sells, like, his boss makes a lot of money, stupid money, FU money. He doesn't pay him well enough, but as a brokerage deal, he'll sell their stuff. Okay. They're in Sioux Falls. So that's what you do. So it's like you just find somebody's like, hey, I see you want to sell us. If I help you sell us, this is what my cut is. You just tell me what your bottom dollar is, and everything above that is my profit. Okay. So that's another way to brokerage. That's probably the fastest way. You go around these places that you go to an old farmer or maybe a boomer that doesn't have the internet or doesn't know how to use it. You just basically like, hey, I'll work with you and sell this. You tell me what it is. And then this way, and it's like I like if when we sell the thing, they're gonna come to you, give you your money, I get my cut. Yeah, that'd help you. Yeah. So this way, then it's like I'll help you do this, but this is my cut. You just tell me what your bottom dollar is, and then from there, my job is to make sure I sell that product
at that price.
Yeah, so higher. Yeah, or higher. So it's like they want $20,000 for it. Well, I just need to sell it for $2,250. So this way, I have some wiggle room with it. Yeah, so this way I still get my grand out of it, and then go from there. Yeah.
That's a good answer. I like that answer because then you're not really selling like your own stuff.
And some places,
a lot of people would be like, "Oh, if I need $1,000 right now, like, oh, I'm selling an Xbox to a pawn store, or I'm doing like a computer to a pawn shop or whatever."
But pawn shops, they're only going to give you 40% of its value.
Sure, but then you just sell as much as you can for $1,000, right? So it's like, that's what people do. Right.
So instead of trying to sell what you have, you just figure out what somebody else has.
Other people have.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like when you go through these remote areas, like go through Ettrick, Chaseburg, places that don't have really good internet service or phone service, utilize that to your advantage, and then you just communicate to them how to receive
Facebook Marketplace, man. Yeah,
yeah, it's the quickest way to make a buck is, or you go to, or let's say you happen like the 24-hour starts on the river. Like there's a big old river thing where it's all up and down from Winona all the way down to Caledonia or something like that. And it's it's a bunch of garage sales and stuff like that. I can't remember what it's called.
It's just the garage days.
But yeah, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Go to start the crack of dawn, and you start working your way down.
N64 games. Yeah.
N64, Magic,
eBay.
Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Yeah. You look at Coca-Cola products, stuff like that. You find someone that doesn't know what's going on.
That's usually how you make money, actually.
Yeah.
Resale.
Yeah. Gary V, man. Gary V 101.
Yeah, okay. That's a good answer, man. That's a good answer.
What would you do if you had 24 hours to sell something?
Oh, if I had to sell?
If you need $1,000, what would you do to achieve it?
I would go antiquing, but I think if I had to like actually just make $1,000 today or whatever, or like 24 hours, I'd probably do like a crypto trade. Like I would be cheating. I'd be like, I know how this works. Like, you know, so that's like cheat code mode though. If I didn't have cheat code mode on, man, I would basically promise somebody that we could make like $5,000, and then I would ask for a business deal in that. So like I would be like, okay, here's like a business pitch, right?
Okay.
Like I would probably pitch something that I know the best, like the drug market. I'd probably do like right.
I would give front and then turn around and sell some X.
I would give them a full breakdown, details, how I'm gonna get everything, and then I would front. Yeah, that's probably how it would be.
It works. It works.
Totally
don't
legal.
recommend it.
A totally legal way, right? I probably would just sell things in my house.
Yeah. Just make sure you give the IRS a cut.
Yeah, exactly. I do pay my taxes. No, I would probably. Man, now that you're bringing that up, I would probably sell something though. I probably would print off a lot of dragons, like those.
Oh yeah, dragon
articulated
eggs,
dragons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd make $1,000 in a day though.
No, you wouldn't, because even if you went to, let's say you went to the Alaska,
I could make $1,000 in a week.
Or Logan.
I could make rent.
Yeah.
Right? Like give me 4 weeks, I can make rent.
Yeah. Because even if you went to, let's say you went to Logan High School and you went to their craft store and stuff like that, because it's absolutely massive. Because we took Sophia there last year. We did some Christmas shopping and stuff, and it was cool. Yeah. It was actually pretty well done, really well, nicely organized. And there's a few vendors that have them there, but trying to sell them amongst everything all else with that, it's like we bought Sophia an egg.
You know what I could set up? I could do a Shopify resale shop. I think I could set that up in 20. I could easily set that up in a couple hours.
Oh yeah, because you can get Shopify stores for free for the first 2 weeks.
The problem is that like, how do you get traffic for the first 24 hours? That's always what I think about. Mm-hmm. So like, okay, maybe we go antiquing. So garage sale idea. Mm-hmm. That would be like my instant first thought of being like, how can I create value with this? You know, and I would find things that like nobody else is finding, find them cheap, resell them. But yeah, 24 hours, it's tough. Without robbing a bank or doing something illegal, very tough.
That's why I think.
I'll give it that.
Yeah, that's why I thought the fronting option is a solid plan.
You would only need to make like one big sale if you went to a boomer with a
like a tractor or a
like 24
lawnmower.
hours, this must go now, you know, and then you sell it for maybe a little bit under what it's worth.
Well, yeah, that's why you say find their bottom dollars and you start high and then you give yourself some negotiating room.
Man, that's a good answer.
Just like doing a interview with a job, you know, it's like, how much do you want? It's like, well, this is X and Y and Z. It's like you tell them, it's like, I want $42 an hour. Well, they come back at you with $35 an hour. Win, you know.
Oh, the other option would be to be like, I'm going to become a real video editor for like a day.
Oh yeah, yeah. You could do that.
I would put I'd put a couple of things out on Twitter, ask a couple of friends for retweets, and then I'd probably be able to. The thing is, I wouldn't get paid in that 24 hours. So that's the only other problem. I get paid when it's done. So like it'd be 3, 4, or 5 days.
Yeah,
that's tough. Yeah.
See now you changed the parameters of.
I'm not changing them. I'm just saying I wouldn't have made it.
But your idea though, your 24 hours. Let's just start with like business hours. This way you can at least have an opportunity to negotiate.
Give me a week, please.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, give me like real like 8 hours, 3 business days.
Right, but it's fact. It works out pretty well.
Go ahead and answer, ask a question out of the Btier Bowler hat for Btier podcast.
Right.
Subpar takes, great people though.
Heck yeah. So, all right. I didn't write this one. So, if you could go back in time and change one world event, keyword world event, where would you go?
Go back in time and change one world event.
Yep. Where would you go?
Man. Thing is like I would go back and like change a war, but you can't really change war because the outcomes are still the same.
Yeah.
If I could change one world event, it would be the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series like a couple years ago. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's like so mean. No, like I said, you can't really like change war. You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh yeah, like, oh, let me change World War II. Well, like what manifests out of that? It's probably the same ideologies, if not worse.
It could be, yeah, even worse.
So it's like you can't really like go back and change. Oh, go back and kill Hitler. Like,
have you heard some of the translations of what Hitler sounds like? Holy cow!
Good public speaker.
Oh yeah,
Max charisma. If I could go back and change one world event, it would be I would go back in time and personally build the pyramids.
Oh,
and then not tell anybody. That'd be my answer, because that would be really funny, because like historians like now would be like, oh, who built the pyramids, aliens or whatever, and then I'd just be like, oh, it's me.
Oh, it'd be when, for me, it'd be when Christopher Columbus discovered South America. Try to get there before and talk to everybody. So you need to kill all these. Do not let a single one survive.
Don't let the white man win.
Yeah, exactly. Kill all of them, because it's like we lost. Because what was it? Was it Magellan? There was a time where like I can't remember the guy's name, but he went in there and he was able to dictate all of this information, where he had these agriculture and cities of gold and millions of people. Then like 20 years later, like everybody died because of smallpox, and so it wiped out basically the entire civilization. Just go do that right there, because it's like that one make it will still make an impact.
I mean,
but that's
the
more
Vikings
of a
still made it
regional.
Here,
What's
right?
that?
The Vikings still.
Oh
made
no, this
it
is
to
with Columbus,
America
Christopher
and
Columbus.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings went north. They went up through Great Lakes, so like because they're finding relics.
Yeah,
in Minnesota, Wisconsin,
a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? I don't know. Like if I was,
it's like, hey, it's summertime. Let's go.
Let's
see what happens.
Seafaring nation anytime before the Roman Empire, I'd be everywhere.
I wouldn't stop the Crusades, because it's like they served a major portion.
The Crusades were really a small group of people. Really, come on, let's not think about it too much.
Yeah, the conversation we're probably gonna take it down from there, because
let's not think about it too much.
Well, I think we'd probably get some sponsors from the Daily Wire. It's like, hey, I heard you talked about on the Crusades and the Muslims.
This is what we go down.
But that's what I would do, though, because it's like it'd be unique to see if smallpox didn't reach South America and then it were able to continue flourishing, we would have a different landscape than what they have now.
Definitely. Yeah, Mesoamerica would be interesting. I don't know. I don't know. That's a huge world event. Because that implies also that like the Spaniards never made it here, which means the French never made it here on time, I guess. Like they would eventually
make it here, but it would save that culture. And then or if you do the same thing with the Indians there when they hit on Plymouth Rock, stuff like that, it's like kill them all. Just don't But then it's like we wouldn't be here today. So it's like the whole thing about like giving their land back is like you just happen to lose.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like that answer. That's a good answer. That's interesting though, coming from you. Kill the white people? I never thought. No, I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding. We're kidding. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good one.
Yeah, this is a good question. Don't know. I think this is a Phil question. I don't know. Is that your, or is that you question?
That could be my handwriting. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's too nice for my writing. My chicken scratch is I made my handwriting so bad I made a professor switch all of his handwritten tests to digital.
Yeah, and then undigitalized because now AI
I left
digitalized. Okay, I got you. Yeah, no, that's a good question. I do like that question. I don't know if I wrote that. I have no idea. Like I could not tell you. Like I don't. We wrote these so long ago. Like these are from months back.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But when we redid them all and stuff like that, we ended up all of us came in with like 4 or 5 ideas.
I know. We need to do that again. We will do that again.
Yeah, we'll do it again. You know, that's a nice thing. It's like it builds up content for weeks, months out in advance.
I love the questions that come out of the hat because you never know. You're just like, sometimes they like are really thought provoking, and sometimes they're like, you know, what's your wrestling name? Like, you know, anything. Describe the last video game you played to your grandma. You know, like, I love that one. So it's great. You know, that was a good question. But it's like the cool thing was like my grandma was cool enough that she went and watched Mortal Kombat 1995. So it's like I play Madden, so I told her that I played football on the TV. I was like,
it works. Yeah, it works. But that's what he likes playing though.
No. It's funny. It's just the most basic. Like that's so easy to describe to your grandma.
Like for me, it's like if I was playing a video game, the current video game I'm playing would be Doom. You know.
You playing Dune?
No, Doom. It would be one.
There was a Dune game that just came out.
Oh, okay. No,
Dune, like Awakening or whatever.
Yeah, I like the Doom. Yeah, Doom. Okay. Yeah. I'm a hardcore Doom fan from.
You ever play Duke Nukem?
Duke Nukem 64. All those Duke Nukems back in the day.
Right now, I'm working. This is like a work in progress. So I hope somebody doesn't like take this from me before it comes out or before anything comes out from it. But I was going to make a YouTube channel that was like dedicated to very simple changes in video games. So like updates and like, you know, it might be like a character update or a gun update or a gun buff or whatever.
Okay.
And I was going to take like the gym bro, like Macho Man style arcade hype kind of style from Duke Nukem and from like Smash TV and Ric Flair, like those kind of names, right?
Right.
You put like those guys together and try to make like a voice for this channel. Oh. And they would just hype tell you like what the changes are in like Marvel Rivals or like, you know, any video game you pick, right? And I was gonna do like an entirely AI generated one, and I don't know if you've seen like the Bigfoot AI stuff.
Oh,
yet.
Dude,
that stuff's hilarious.
I've gotten so many of those videos because it's like a lot like Bigfoot with just less hair.
A lot like, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like I think a lot of stuff is gonna go back to in-person events and stuff like that because of this kind of stuff. But like people who are doing parody, people who are doing like funny things, like they're putting stormtroopers in like vlog camera style now too.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen that.
I've seen those ones like, hey, check out this.
Greg, wait, these little teddy bears are shooting at it or whatever. You know, like that kind of stuff is like funny, and like I think like people who are just funny on the internet will like have a heyday with AI. But the average person is probably going to lose their job, and they're not going to have much to do, so they're probably going to go do like in real life events again, right? And that's kind of like where we might wrap up this whole podcast. But I guess like,
and still, all those will have they're right now they're hot, but they're going to die off because it's like you can only do so many. Every bits.
Week you'll probably just have like a different bit to follow. That's probably what
that's
it's
the thing.
Be.
It's like they're cranking out so quickly, and some of the people that are doing these, they're actually teaching other folks to do this, to do it through AI prompt through VEO3,
Google VO, whatever it is.
They're giving tutorials to be able to do their own thing. But it's like, just think though, it's like if you took like those images, those thumbnails that you did of three of us, you can make me a Yeti. You can do Phil as Bigfoot. You can do Phil as Mothman. I can be Bigfoot. You could be like whatever you want.
Yeti, whatever. Yeah,
right.
And then Brad can be
a werewolf.
Yeah, werewolf.
Yeah, because I've seen werewolf ones, I've seen vampire ones, seen Mothman ones.
And that's kind of like the creative side of AI, and I think like that stuff is going to like be funny. It's going to be hilarious, like people who just make like songs that are parodies of other songs, like that's going to exist forever.
There's a whole channel that makes money off of like I ruined it.
Memers could use AI to such a high extent, like it is going to be great content. The average person who's just on social media and they're browsing and they see like 1 out of every 2 accounts is a bot anyway, so it's not going to matter if it's AI or not. Us having like a podcast, like I said, it might not really mean anything until we get into in real person events, because then people know that we're real. At some point, it is going to be indistinguishable. And the AI is going to learn off of other AI, and it's all going to be deep fakes, and they're not going to know anything that's real anymore either, right? So it's just going to be something that like the in-person event is going to be such like a real experience for the average person.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because
you just have to become the leader of that, right? Like you don't want to be in the audience. Oh, I mean, you could be in the audience for somebody you look up to, but you got to be making content too. You got to be like making yourself known.
Oh yeah, I remember before the pandemic, they did My Favorite Murder. That was one of the first podcasts that was able to go to a mainstream, do a nationwide tour. Then they got big enough to do a international tour as well. So like Alicia and I used to watch it, but then they got really downright political, and they moved away from their base content, and they started doing like because they got clout. They brought in other people like, hey, I'm gonna suck your dick, you suck my dick type thing.
It's like it
lost it.
I know we kind of are a little bit political, but we gotta stay like apolitical, and that's hard. That's hard. Like it doesn't matter if you're right, left, center. It doesn't matter. Like you have to like be like kind of. It's like a straight edge show. That's what you kind of have to be. You just have to do what you do, and like we tell stories.
We try to be as clean as we can.
We tell stories. I know, like my brain wants to definitely be like, okay, there's like an objective truth in the universe, and I'm gonna go follow that right now. But if I can turn that off for like a moment, and just like talk stories, talk about like what people experience and all that stuff, I know we have a great time. So I think it's like that's kind of where we need to go. But there's a deep side of me that's just like, how often should we go live? Should we start doing live stream shows more often and just talk about like what's going on? Because there's a lot going on right now. There's a ton going on right now.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
But it's not my fight to fight right now. But it could be in like a year. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like you have to start like this like pretty early, and then like you kind of see one thing happen, and then one thing happens, and then all of a sudden you're affected by it, and then it's like, okay, well now I have to talk about it, right? And like I don't want that to be a thing in like a year from now, because I know that's probably gonna happen. Right?
It seems like that's the common case, kind of like watching the Unsubscribed podcast. They just did that whole
Buffalo County
stuff. Yeah. Over there in Pennsylvania, it's crazy. But the Fat Electrician started his whole content on World War II or war content, because they're all, like everybody on the Unsubscribed podcast were all operators overseas at one point in time. They're all ex-military.
Yeah.
They're hilarious. They're funny, but it's like that's how it works.
Yeah.
And now they're able to, but now they got big enough to be able to do that without like the Matrix canceling them.
I was gonna say they pretty much are like the mainstream at that point. They're like, people are talking about them, not them.
They had Gamer Grandpa on their podcast, and it was freaking awesome.
Yeah, I didn't see that in a while. That was a couple months back. Yeah, but like even unsub. So like they use their platform for good occasionally, right? But most of the time they are just like telling stories and yapping. And and they
have a few beers, stuff like that. Maybe someone brings some whiskey. They all get together.
Yeah,
but it's like that's a fun camaraderie that can be established.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing too, right? So like, say our boys, like it's you, me, Brad, Phil, like whatever, and say we have like our occasional guests that always come on. It's like Ryan, and then we have like a couple other people, Trey, like Brian, the other Ryan. There's always like a couple of people that just kind of like occasionally are on. Yeah, I have no doubt that we could like build that same type of like presence, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, we already have it kind of.
Oh,
but
definitely.
It's just like a matter of like, do we need other people to see it? Probably not. Like that's kind of the beauty of it too, right? Like, we just
it gives us an opportunity to have fellowship is what it comes down to.
Yeah. Without joining like a gay bathhouse. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Btier Pod. If you haven't already, click that follow button and that subscribe button down below. We do daily content. It is kind of wild. We do a lot of content. But you know, hopefully we're gonna like upscale our shorts a little bit more, get better at them, get them more out there, and yeah, I don't know. Have a good one.
Right,
Peace
just
out.
good enough.